Hi guys, it's Ty and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to go ahead and talk about my reading statistics for 2021, and then we will talk about my reading goals and my channel goals for 2022. So this is actually my first time ever doing this because I've only had my channel for a little over a year at this point. So this is all new to me and this is my first time obviously trying to track all of this stuff. So we will see how this goes. So I will kind of be looking down at my laptop. So if you see that, that is what I'm looking at. But you should see something kind of like pop up here over on the side, hopefully if all goes well. But we will go ahead and start with my reading statistics first. So in 2021, I actually read a lot more books than I have ever read before. I have been on Goodreads since about 2018, I think. And normally I would set my reading goal for the year at about 20 to 25 books, and I would struggle to hit that. Not that that's a bad thing, but since I started my channel, I kind of made it my mission to read as much as I possibly could so that I would have content obviously to post. So I did just that, and for the year of 2021 I read a total of 80 books, and I hit that number late December 30th. I had wanted to make sure I hit an even number. So that last book that I was reading, which was Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney, I pushed through that thing so that I would hit that number. So yeah, I read 80 books. So out of those 80 books, 16 of those I rated a 5 stars. And then 28 of those I rated 4 stars. 31 of those I rated 3 stars. 4 of those I rated 2 stars. And then 1 of those got a 1 star. And if you have watched the videos on my channel, you know which book got a 1 star. And I also mentioned in that video that I don't normally give books a 1 star because at that point, if I'm thinking a book is about to get a 1 star, I probably have already DNF'd it, because I have no problems DNFing books because I don't like to read something that's not making me happy, because I don't like that on my spirit. I like to be happy when I'm reading books. And but I pushed through on that particular book because I was filming a specific video. But yeah, not a fun time. But yeah, overall, it was a good reading year. Speaking of DNFs though, in 2021, I did DNF 10 books, which in hindsight, out of 80 books, 10 of those, that's not that bad. And I don't count DNFs toward the total number of books read. So those 10 aren't counted in my 80 books. Now on my Goodreads, it probably says that I read either 84 or 83 books, but that is because a couple of those books are books that I technically DNF'd, but for some reason I couldn't get it to like not count as read or something. So that's why I started kind of tracking it my own way. So just ignore that if you are somebody that follows me on Goodreads. We're just gonna ignore that. Now, I am also somebody that tries to like keep a balance of older titles that I read versus the newer releases. I'm just always trying to catch up with things that I'm just finding out about as far as like the older titles, while also trying to keep up with everything that's currently coming out. But last year, I actually read a lot of new titles. So I ended up reading 27 new releases last year, which is pretty good. And I didn't realize that that was how many new releases that I was able to keep up with last year. Were they all good? I'm not going to say that, but I did read a lot of them. Now, also last year was my first year that I was able to listen to a lot of audiobooks. And not necessarily that I was able to, it was that I wanted to and that I tried to. I just never thought that I was going to be an audiobook person. I just never thought that I really had the attention span for it, but I found out that I quite enjoy it. I also found out that not every audiobook is for me, but a lot of them are, and I'm just gonna leave that there. And I really enjoyed it. I did have to go through a couple of different audiobook services until I found the right one. I think I went through like Scribd, I went through Audible. I feel like I did something else before. I just went through Libby. My library is free. Before I just settled on that one, and I have not looked back since. So yeah, audiobooks have really contributed to the total number of books that I was able to get through last year. And I actually got through 36 audiobooks last year. I did also read 4 ebooks. And out of all the books that I was able to read last year, one of them was a reread for me. I also kept track of the total number of repeat authors. And what I mean by that is I've read several books from the same author last year. And I did that for 14 authors. So I'll just go down the list really quickly. Starting with the author Kellen Patrick Burke, I read 2 of his books last year. Angie Thomas, I read 2 of her books last year. Stephen King, I DNF'd 2 of his books last year while also reading 3 of his books last year. Taylor Jenkins Reid, I read 2 of her books last year. Tiffany D. Jackson, I read 1 book by her that was written only by her, and then I read a book where she was a co-author on an anthology. Holly Jackson, I binged the whole series by her last year. Grady Hendrix, I read 3 books by him last year. I think it was 3. Riley Sager, I read 2 books by him. Brandon Sanderson, I read 2 books by him to complete a series. V.E. Schwab, I read 2 books by her. Alex Michaelides, I read 2 books by him. TJ Klune, I read 3 books by him. Shawnee McGuire, I read 3 books by her. And Christina Lauren, I read 2 books by her. Goodreads, for their Goodreads challenge, there was actually 2 things that I liked that they did. The first thing being is I like how they, in their challenge, they tell you like the shortest and longest book that you read, and I went ahead and pulled those off my shelf. So the shortest book that I read was Blanky by Kellen Patrick Burke, and this came in at 73 pages. And then the longest book that I read was The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson, and this one came in at 748 pages. The other thing that I like that they do, that unfortunately I can't really tell you what the number is because it's not going to be accurate for me, but they tell you the total number of pages that you read overall at the end of the year. And the reason why it would not be accurate for me is because, one, in my count, it has those books in there that technically I DNF'd, and 2, when you like pick your books for the books that you're reading, you have to make sure that you're picking the right editions. Maybe some people don't care, but I do. But you have to like make sure you're picking the right edition. So that's whether it's the hardback, the paperback, whether it's the Kindle edition, whether it's, you know, the UK versus the US edition, because the page numbers vary. So if you're not picking the right edition, you're not going to have the right page count. So your number is not going to be accurate. Technically, I could tell you, I think when I looked, it was, I think around like 29,000 pages for the year, but that's not accurate. So I'm just not going to tell you exactly what that is. But that technically is all of the statistics that I kept track of so far this year. Now, next year, based off of my spreadsheet, I think I'm going to tweak it a little bit for next year. So I will have a different set of statistics for you, but that is all that I have for this. So we will go ahead and jump into my reading goals. So like I had mentioned before, my reading goals normally would have been like 20 to 25 books for that year. I was able to get through 80 this year, so I kind of settled on 60. We'll see. Hopefully I can make it there. I didn't want to push it to 80 because that seemed a bit much. I kind of felt like this year I got lucky. But I think 60 is a nice, good number because I read a good number of like thick books versus novellas versus graphic novels versus regular size books. So I think I'll be able to hit that one. Another reading goal that I had was I kind of wanted to do a little bit more rereading. I only reread one book, and that was probably my first time rereading a book in a long time. I'm actually currently reading a book right now, and that is in anticipation for a sequel. And it actually feels good to like reread something that I enjoyed because it just makes me feel good. And I just don't know why I don't reread books that I know that I enjoy. I don't know if it's because I'm afraid that I'm not going to enjoy it the second time I reread it, or well, actually, I know a lot of my problem is I always say I just don't have time to reread because I'm trying to read new things. But I do kind of want to set more time aside to reread the things that I like, especially when it comes to series, and I kind of want to get like a refresher. I think it's easier and I enjoy it more when it's fresh in my mind and I'm not just trying to look up a summary on Google in regards to what happened. So that's just something. I just kind of want to reread things here and there, especially books that I claim are my favorite. It just feels good. So my biggest reading goal for next year is to read some backlist series that I have on my shelves. I have like tons of just completed series on my shelves that I have just been sitting there, and I have to get through these series. I want to read them, obviously, but I want to read them to figure out if they need to stay on my shelves. I'm just kind of tired of looking at them, especially because I know I haven't read them yet. So I picked out a few series that I have prioritized specifically for this year. And I'm going to go ahead and run down them and tell you guys how far I've gotten into the series. And if I haven't gotten into the series at all. So the first one is the Throne of Glass series. And I think it's about 8 books in that. One of them is a like a prequel book, and I've only gotten 2 books into that one. The next one is the Ember and the Ashes series, and I've only gotten 1 book into that. It's 4 books in that series. The next one is the Green Creek series. It's 4 books in that, and I've only read 2 of them. These next few series that I'm going to tell you about, I have all the books in the series, but I have not read any of the books in the series. It's sad, I know. But I have the Imperium series, it's 3 books in that one. The Ryeria Chronicles, it's 4 books in that. The Passage, 3 books in that one. The Illuminae Files, 3 books in that. The Remnant Chronicles, 3 books in that one. The Folk of the Air, I think it's like 3 main books in that, plus like a, I don't know, prequel. I don't have that one. I don't have that prequel or whatever that extra one she made. And then the Curse Breakers, it's 3 main books in that, but I think she just came out with or is about to come out with a prequel or a continuation or something, but I'm not going to count that. So like I said, I have all of those. So what my plan is to do like quarterly TBRs, which I kind of mentioned in my winter TBR video, where I do like a winter, spring, summer, fall TBR, where I kind of split up those series throughout the year so I can kind of make it easier on myself to get through those, but also leave room for me to read everything else that I want to read over the year. So hopefully I can make it through those series. We'll see. But I really need to start getting through a lot of these backlist series that I have on my shelves. And it'll also just help with like my physical TBR because it's getting ridiculous. Now, as far as like my channel goals, I just have a few things that I would like to do this year as far as like my channel goes. And like one of the things that I would like to do is just like a little bit more vlogging. I have like 2 vlogs on my channel. They're not that good. But I love watching people vlog. I never thought I would like watching people like make coffee. But I love watching people like vlog. And everybody has like a different style of doing it, and I like it all. So I do want to kind of get into that. I do want to do like more recommendation videos. I love recommending people books. I feel like I do that off my channel, but I just don't have any videos on my channel. So I have some ideas for recommendation videos, but I just need to film them and post them. I do also want to do some sort of live stream on my channel. I'm just haven't posted one. I'm also a little shy to do it like in real time. So at some point I would like to do that as well. I also, when I first started my channel, and I think I mentioned that in one of my first videos, was that I wanted to do like all of these like Stephen King videos, because I have a lot of Stephen King books. I'm a fan of his movies that have been adapted from his books, and I've actually heard that a lot of his books are really problematic, and I would like to have like discussions about that, but I just haven't had the time to like get through his stuff and like really, you know, dive into it. So I'm really trying to make the time to do that. So hopefully I can do that this year. I actually have a book and movie discussion coming up here soon, within the next week or so on my channel. So hopefully that will be the start to that. And then not so much as like a channel goal, but just another just random goal is that I just want to participate more in like people's read-alongs and like live streams that they do, because I feel like I listen to people's live streams and like I'm excited for people's read-alongs, but I don't necessarily like participate. So I'm trying to participate more in things. And already in January and February, I've got books to participate in things. So I'm just trying to be more active in the community. So hopefully that will all work out for me. So that is actually all that I have as far as like my statistics and my reading goals and my channel goals. So hopefully that will all work out for me. I hope everybody else had a really good, productive 2021. I hope everyone has a really good and productive 2022. If anyone else has like any goals they would like to share with me, please leave that in the comments, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.